Hey, welcome to this episode of Think Business. Looking forward to having private chef Marci Shienbaum on. Marci, it's great to see you.
Thanks.
When people ask kind of a question, like if you won the lottery, what would you get? And I always say, if I won the lottery, the only thing I mean, there's lots of things I want, but really what I would want first and foremost is a private full-time chef. I think it's the greatest thing in the world. You cook for our family and drop off food on Mondays, which is great. But so thanks for that. So it's great to have you on the show. You've been on before, and it's always great to see you. Um,
Thank you.
but I wanted to kind of jump in and talk a little bit about. I kind of have this segment. It's called "Where's Your Stuck?" Right. So when you look at business today, when you're looking at your business, where's your stuck, and what are you doing to overcome it?
Oh, well, I mean, we all have that, right?
Yeah.
So my stuck is technology. I'm a pen and paper type of a girl, and I'm in the process of creating a website, which I discussed with you. And I'm going to be taking on a new venture in Plymouth where I'm going to be teaching cooking classes. So I had to get a landing page, and this is all new lingo for me.
Yeah.
Landing page, sign up genius, e-commerce. That makes my head spin. So my stuck, what do? I find the best people to help me with my weaknesses.
Yeah.
Just like people hire me to cook for them because that's their weakness. So I would say my technology is not the greatest. So I have to find people, it takes a village.
Yeah.
So I have found people to help me with it.
Yeah. I love that. Two things come to mind when you're talking about that, which is think community. You've heard me say this a lot, with technology, because things are happening so fast. I always think it's a good thing to spend 1 to 5 minutes every day studying something in technology that you're not completely familiar with. But also, I think one of the most important things in business are finding your who's, right? So who can I delegate to do things that I may spend a minute or 5 minutes, so that doesn't mean I still want to do it. So, but finding the who's and delegating is key. All right. Well, thanks for that, Marci. I appreciate that. All right, let's move on to you and your business. How do you do it all? How do you, I always say to clients, you'll always feel like you're my only client, right? I return every call, text, email, same day, and which I do. But I kind of feel like I feel like the Dwoskins are your only, and I know we're not, but you're always so quick to respond. I know you're cooking for so many people. You're delivery. I mean, how do you balance it all?
Well, it's definitely an art, and it definitely takes time because I do want my clients to feel special. And that's what sets me apart from, just cooking. And so I'm very organized. I'm very well thought out. I start my day with a ritual. I start my week with a ritual. Sundays are, and I work every day pretty much. I mean, I try and take some downtime, but I work every day. And on Sundays, typically I visit my week ahead. And I know, if I want to get stuff ahead, I have to order stuff ahead. And I make sure I reach out to my clients so I know exactly what they want, because I don't always tell them what they're having.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good balance of some clients are very specific about what they want, and some clients will say, what are you making for others? And I'll just hop on what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, and, I'm doing a lot of larger parties now instead of just cooking for families every day. And those take a lot of work. And
Yeah.
a lot of a lot of shortcuts, multitasking, order things from Instacart from Costco, have my kids help me. And then I have some wonderful staff that I would not be able to do without, that help me serving, bartending, cleaning, for my parties. But
Yeah.
all the cooking I do by myself. So yeah, I guess when you do what you love, it comes natural. It really does.
I love that. I want to talk about customer service, because I think you've got such a knack for it. And I don't think it's always easy. And, I think a lot of times, sometimes in business, it's very common, I think, especially in today's world, people are very overwhelmed. And so they will react when they really should respond, right? And you're so great. I mean, I can't speak for, I know you work with, hundreds of local families and you're doing large parties. I can just speak for myself and my family. We have kind of high demands on spices we want, spices we don't want, things we want, and you're always so accommodating. You're like, oh, yeah, I can do that. And, this and the other. And, we ask for chocolate chip cookies, but we say, well, we want it with no gluten and we want no this and we want like, okay, I got it. But you're always so great with making people feel like they're not high maintenance. And so just kind of talk a little bit about the art of that.
I mean, I would say having dietary restrictions is not being high maintenance. I mean, it's a fact of life, and we all have something we like and we don't like, and that's usually the first question I ask when I interview somebody is, what don't you like? We're going to take that off the table. And what can't you have? So I don't find that to be a challenge at all. As a matter of fact, I rise to the occasion. I have a son who is very particular about what he eats, and I want him to be happy too. And I just know it's a thing. It's not a made up,
Yeah.
And so I just think it's really important to spend time getting to know your clients and building relationships with them. I'm not a machine. I take what I do very seriously, and I'm only as good as my last meal. So I want people to be happy. I mean, you love the chocolate chip cookies, but then when I tasted it, I was like, they're a little gritty, they're gluten-free. I want to try something else.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be honest about what you do. It's not, a perfect science. You have to learn how to pivot and adapt and just take care of people.
Yeah. Let's talk about, that's great. Well, you do a great job at it, Marci, and you're always a pleasure. Let's talk about your new venture in Plymouth, which sounds great. And as you were telling me about it, I said, well, what, can you just come to my house and work with me for 2-3 hours and, teach me how you barbecue, because your food is so great. So I'm looking forward to that. But talk about your new Plymouth project.
So last fall, I participated in a charcuterie workshop that was presented by Time and Honey. She's fabulous if you've ever seen her boards. And so, of course, learning, I always have to learn. So when I was there, I met these two lovely women, and they run a place in Plymouth. It's called Park. It's the Plymouth Arts and Rec Center. It used to be the old Plymouth High School, and they were going to tear it down. And these two preservationists from Plymouth said, absolutely not. We're going to take the building over. It's a historic building. It's a beautiful space. And the woman who runs it has two different things going on in there. One is the original home ec room. It's Proud Mitten Kitchen, and it's the culinary concepts, and there's 7 stations, and I am going to be taking over a residency there and teaching classes there. There's a lovely woman who teaches classes. She only teaches children's classes. So we started this dialogue back in September, and we had to make sure that we were the right fit for each other. And then in the other space, she has a commercial kitchen where people who manufacture their own food products use on an hourly basis, and they use that kitchen to mitigate their risk in their business. So I'm looking forward to going to Plymouth. It's a beautiful space. There's so much going on in there. I think that community over there and is very similar to our community over here, and there's a real need for it. And so I'm really looking forward, once I get my few things on my website tweaked and I get my classes up, we're going to be full force. And I want to teach, I'd love to teach, 8 classes a month is what my goal is. And, teaching to moms, to kids, to families, to guys, to do girls' nights, to take your mom, even workshops with businesses, team building exercises. So I'm super excited about it.
That's great. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you. I want to go back and talk about, you said we wanted to get to know each other, see if it was a fit. I think anytime people are looking at whether it's a business partner or a collaboration, which we're seeing a lot of, with many companies all over the world, What were you, I think it's, most people just, will come to the table with their values, whether they understand them, whether they're in writing or not, and feeling the synergy and things of that nature. What were you looking for to make sure it was a fit?
I think we were both looking for the same thing, knowing that we were serious about what we do, knowing that that the mission was really, intertwined with each other. Just like I said earlier, I'm not a machine. So I want this to be, a natural progression where we can grow together, we can collaborate together. I mean, if I didn't collaborate, I would really struggle being, a sole proprietor. So we just had numerous conversations. I visited the space. They're both moms. They loved, how I started and my story, and I loved their story. And it's
Yeah.
going to be great. I'm super excited.
Good. I'm excited for you. Let's talk about food and the kitchen table, right? Or I think eating around a kitchen table is different than from when I grew up. When I grew up, it was like I think there was less activities. There was less. I could name, 10 other things. Today, it's like eating around the kitchen table, eating around the island. Some people are sitting, some people are standing, on the go eating. But just talk about the importance of eating, with, together, regardless of kind of if you're standing, sitting, island, table, etc.
I mean, I think when you have food on the table or the island or on the coffee table or on the couch, and you don't have your phone there and you're engaged in conversation, whether it be, I say my kids because, everybody's got their phone in their hand.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's, 5 minutes or an hour. So much goes on and everybody feels relaxed and you're
Hmm.
all just kind of focused on each other. And we know food is love. And we know that, I used to, before my kids got their license, like driving them to school in the morning, I would do all the talking because they were still half asleep. And then in the afternoon, they would do all the talking about their day. And that was it. And then, homework, sports,
Right.
no real formal meals at the table. So anytime you can capture that attention, you have to.
Yeah.
And then obviously holidays and, birthdays and special celebrations. And I would say that is one of the most fulfilling things in my job when I get to cook for a party and host people around their table or my table, just to see the interaction and the conversations, and people are relaxed and maybe they're having a glass of wine. um, it just it really just brings out the best in people. It
Yeah.
really does, with no distractions.
Yeah. I agree. I got to work on like everyone putting their phones away. That's a
Yeah,
hard one,
yeah,
with kind of screenagers, and it's a tough one. Well, that was great. Yeah, I love food and I love like eating with people, and so
yeah.
it's great. And your food makes it even more fun. So
Thank,
I appreciate it. Uh,
thank you.
yeah, yeah. Let's do a quick speed round. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Finish this sentence. One thing everybody can do to be a better cook is.
Watch some videos, come to a class, and learn how to navigate the grocery store.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. It's like I'm excited. You're gonna come over and barbecue with me for a few hours. And I'm excited because I feel like every time I cook, and I'm a somewhat not I'm not I wouldn't say I'm intelligent, but I'm somewhat intelligent. Every time I cook, everything tastes the same. And so I'm excited for you to teach me things.
Right, because
Uh,
there's technique and there's
correct.
ingredients, and I mean, we should really shop together
Yeah,
too,
we
so that
will.
we
We'll go
kind
shopping
of,
together.
yeah,
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 we'll do it. And then, yeah, I'm excited for the whole routine of it.
me too.
A book that you've read or a TED talk you've listened to since we last spoke that had an impact on you.
Oh my gosh. I hate when you do this to me.
An
Um,
article, anything that had an impact on you.
I have a friend in Florida. His name is Steve Noodleberg, and I would say that he does a morning huddle, and I have been not I've been absent on the huddles, but his son wrote a book because his son used to be a football coach, and now he's actually in the business with him. And the younger people, they just inspire me so much.
Yeah.
They just have, it's so fresh and exciting, and they're not afraid of anything. And so that's the message that I get is don't be afraid. And at my age, I told you I'm aging backwards, but still at my numerical age, you know what? Like, you're never too old to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
And there's so much life ahead. You just have to live. And so those are my messages. Learn, live, and don't be afraid.
Good. I love it. Last question. You talked about being fulfilled earlier. And one of my favorite quotes is Tony Robbins, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And so what's one thing somebody can do to find their fulfillment?
Listen to your heart is really what you want to do. Because, I hear people tell me, well, I have to make a living. If you do what you love, the money will follow. That is one of the isms that I got from Dan Gilbert. I worked at Quicken Loans for 10 years. Have your list of what you want to do and look at it every day.
Yeah.
And do what you love, because really, I always loved to do this, and it never even occurred to me to be able to do it for a living. And now, the hard work and the focus has really just paid off.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love listening and problem solving and finding a space for people to give them an idea to help them grow their business and get unstuck. And I just figured out a way to make a business and monetize and scale it. So I agree with you. Thanks for all that, Marci. Thanks. Think Community. I'm a business coach. I work with people around the globe who are successful to get them unstuck, who are stuck and get them unstuck. And I love this podcast because I get guests like Marci who can give you guidance to also help you get unstuck. Marci, you shared a lot today, which I appreciate all of it. But one thing I'm just gonna highlight is Think Community. Do what you love, the money will follow. You still have to have a plan and make sure that what you love, people will actually pay for, but which is an important piece. But do what you love. Make sure you can get paid for it, and jump in, whether it's part-time, part-time, full-time. There's lots of opportunities to do a lot of stuff. Marci, thank you. Where can people connect with you, learn more about you, your ideal clients, etc.?
They can look at me on Instagram at Marci's Kitchen 2020, or they can email me at chefms@yahoo.com.
Awesome.
And stay tuned for all the updates in regards to my Plymouth venture.
All right, good. Looking forward to that. And if you need me, you can reach me at jondwoskin.com. Marci, thanks for everything. Always great connecting with you. And thanks for being on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you.